Today's video is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Unfortunately, our exotic orchards are gonna be pretty bad. Ooh, power plant. So this means exotic orchard literally does not tap for mana. Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't even cast it? Thank you. It's ghosted out. I'm assuming it's ghosted out because it doesn't do anything. Do we cast it for science? Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Against the Odds. So last week, we had a Modern poll as we wait for Core Set 2021 to come out, and it was Commander Staple Sen Triplets that came out on top. So today, we're heading to Modern to try to win with our opponent's cards in a deck I'm calling Esper Sen Triplet Thieves. Basically, we got Sen Triplets, which lets us cast our opponent's stuff if we ever get to untap with it and our opponent has cards in hand, but we also have a lot of backup ways of stealing our opponent's cards, various Spectres and Gontis and so forth. So we're going to try to win with our opponent's cards today, see how it goes. So let's talk about the deck, jump right into it, see if Sen Triplets actually can compete in Modern. So first off, our namesake card, Sen Triplets, 5 mana 3/3, which at the beginning of our upkeep lets us choose an opponent, which in a Modern game is always our one and only opponent, and then during that turn, that player can't play spells or activate abilities, and they play with their hand revealed, and we get to play cards from that player's hand. So essentially, if we can get Sen Triplets down, and our opponent has cards in hand, and they can't kill it, and we make it to our next turn, we can play with our opponent's hand as well as our hand during our turn. So Sen Triplets is kind of the centerpiece of the deck, but to back up Sen Triplets, we got a bunch of other ways to steal our opponent's cards, especially a bunch of 3-drops. Thief of Sanity, when it hits our opponent, we get to grab one of their top 3 cards of their library, and we can cast it this turn. Nightveil Spectre, similar, but only the top card. Daxos, just a one-of because it's legendary, but kind of a ground version of one of the Spectres. If it hits our opponent, they reveal the top card of their library, we gain life equal to its converted mana cost, and we can cast it until end of turn. So this gives us a bunch of different ways of stealing our opponent's cards. And then in the 4-drop slot, we have Gonti, which just lets us dig 4 cards deep in our opponent's library. When it comes into play, we can exile one of those cards, cast them. Hostage Taker can steal artifacts or creatures from the battlefield, let us cast them. So essentially, a ton of ways to kind of back up our Sen Triplets plan. Additional ways to get cards from our opponent's library or battlefield or hand into our hand, essentially, or into exile, which works like our hand, and then we get to cast them, hopefully beat our opponent down with their own cards. The other way we are supporting Sen Triplets is bounce spells. So Sen Triplets, one of the big challenges with it, and you'll see this as we get to our videos, is it's 5 mana. We're playing Modern. Modern games sometimes end by like turn 3 to turn 4, and even if they're not literally over, our opponents often don't have cards in hand by the time we get Sen Triplets on the battlefield, and doubly so because Sen Triplets, it's not an enter the battlefield trigger. We have to play it, we have to pass to our opponent, they see Sen Triplets sitting on the battlefield, and they're like, I guess I should try to empty my hand, or else the Sen Triplets player is going to start casting my stuff. So one of the ways to get around this is bounce effect. So let's say we get down our Sen Triplets, our opponent has something sweet on the battlefield, we can use Brazen Borrower or Venser to just bounce one of our opponent's best permanents back to their hand at instant speed. Then we get to untap and cast that permanent with Sen Triplets. So like end step of Venser or Brazen Borrower is an additional way to make Sen Triplets a little bit more relevant. We also have a bunch of bouncy counter spells. These cards help us stay alive. They also just make sure our opponent has cards in hand. Again, that is one of the biggest challenges of Sen Triplets, is a lot of times by the time we cast it, our opponent just doesn't really have much going on. So Remand doesn't really counter a spell. It puts it back to our opponent's hand. Cryptic Command does counter a spell, but also can bounce any permanent. Snapcaster lets us recast these cards for even more bouncing. So in theory, we could use these cards to hopefully make sure that our opponent has something in hand by the time Sen Triplets hits the battlefield, and we untap with it, and we get to actually use its ability. Otherwise, we get some discard or removal to stay alive. The discard's actually a little non-bowish with Sen Triplets, because we were just talking about how one of the downsides of Sen Triplets is our opponent emptying their hand before we can actually activate it. But we do need to stay alive till we get to 5 mana. Sen Triplets does die to pretty much everything. It dodges Fatal Push, but Lightning Bolt gets it. Path to Exile gets it. So Inquisition Thoughtseize clear the way for our Sen Triplets, so hopefully it sticks on the battlefield long enough to do something. Mana base wise, probably our most unique lands are Exotic Orchard, Vivid Creek, and Vivid Marsh. Some of our stealing cards, including Sen Triplets itself, requires us to actually play the real mana cost for the card. So, for example, if we have Sen Triplets, and our opponent has, I don't know, a Lightning Bolt in hand. We need red mana to be able to cast that Lightning Bolt. Well, Exotic Orchard just makes mana equal to the colors our opponent has available, so we can always cast our opponent's spells with Exotic Orchard. Vivid, Creek, and Marsh give us a couple of shots of adding mana of any color to hopefully let us cast stuff with our Sen Triplets. Otherwise, as far as the sideboard, not going to spend a ton of time here. Mostly ways to customize our removal or counterspell package. Commandeer, another sweet way to yoink, especially big non-creature spells. Damping Sphere for combo, Ashiok for graveyards, and that is Esper, Sen Triplets, Thieves for Modern. And that's our Get Odds deck for this week. So let's head to the games, see if Sen Triplets can actually steal stuff from our opponent. In Modern, can the rest of our Thieves do anything? Can the deck even work? Let's jump into some games and find out. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you all enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit with a wrap-up. Looking for some new Core Set 2021 cards? Well, you can get them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom. Card Kingdom has Core Set 2021 up for pre-sale now, and you can check it out over at cardkingdom.com. Against odds time, we are playing Esper Thieves. we're Sen Triplets. Sen Triplets, basically trying to win with our opponent's cards. Or cast our opponent's card. I mean, we'd like to win. I don't know how practical that is. We're playing Sen Triplets in Modern, but we're trying to cast our opponent's cards. Let's go with that. Let's set reasonable expectations for Sen Triplets. But we got a bunch of ways to steal our opponent's cards. Many different ways. I don't want to, let's say every way, but most of the ways that are available in Modern. And hopefully our opponent has some good stuff. If our opponent's cards are good, then our cards should be reasonably good at least. Windswept Teeth for our opponent. Ooh, is it Boggles? It could be Boggles. Let's just Pluto Delta, crack it. Get a Swamperino and Thoughtseizio. Ooh, well, take a Femret. Opponent, it's an awkward mulligan for our opponent. So opponent's soul hurting. Well, this will be interesting. That does mean our opponent has some good value-y stuff to steal. Opponent, Mysterian Forest. Well, keep the Inquisitions coming. Opponent's down to nothing. Well, next turn we get to play Thief number 1, Night Veil Spectre, and hopefully start stealing good stuff off the top of our opponent's deck. I'm glad we got rid of those Ephemerids. The Ephemerids are pretty scary if our opponent finds a value creature. They can reload really quickly. Prismatic Vista. I guess it's also possible that our opponent just concedes when they see Night Veil Spectre. Or maybe they do the opposite because it's a Night Veil Spectre. Like, oh, we're good. We got nothing going on, but oh, that's what they're doing. Opponent. Alright, Night Veil down. They most likely have Icefang Quattles in their deck. Forest. Cracks it. Gets a Snow-Covered Plains. Aw, Stonehorn Dignitary. Alright. Well, no attacks this turn. Do we know what's in our opponent's hand? Well, alright, let's Snapcaster. I don't think we know. If we do, then this was bad. Thoughtseize, you... Probably a land. Deputy Detention, alright. Vivid Creek, go. Alright, come on, Night Veil Spectre. Give us something good. I'll go to combat. Always attack first with Night Veil because you can play lands off of it. Well, let's start the thieving. Not the best Spectre for stealing cards since we only get the top one, but still, we can play lands, which is nice. Get in with Night Veil, hit ya. And what do we get? Alright, Snow-Covered Plains. Go. I mean, that's like ramp, sort of. Opponent draws a land and passes. Well, hits us, passes down to 14. More lands. Well, go to combat, attack. So many lands, so many lands. Give us something good, Night Veil Spectre. Yeah, okay. We'll just scry. Keep Hostage Taker. Watery Grave tapped. Pass the turn. Opponent draws a land. Oh, my apologies, opponent. Opponent. Passes. Well, go to combat. Get it with Night Veil Spectre. We're not going to play Hostage Taker yet. I don't think there's any reason to just run it out. We can just keep stealing our opponent's stuff for now. Get it, hit ya. And. Yeah, okay. Bounce it. Opponent can't recast it this turn, so I think Oh, we don't win, do we? We put our opponent to 1? That's awkward. All right, opponent scoops it up. Well, that actually, the thieving worked. Our opponent having 5 cards didn't hurt the cause. So opponent just playing like Ban Soul Herder, I assume. Just kind of like tempo-y, creature-y, blinky stuff. So not a Commandeer matchup. Maybe a bit more removal, I guess? Like, go down a Cryptic. Go down a Remand. Go up a Path and a Supreme Verdict. And just run it like that. Well, no Sen Triplets, but technically we did win by stealing our opponent's stuff, so that kind of counts. Ooh, so much thieving, but so little land. Guess we're gonna mulligan. Oh dear. Less lands. Heading the wrong direction. All right, so our turn to mull to 5. I guess that is probably fair. Inquisition to the bottom, and I guess Watery Grave to the bottom. Okay, this is not great. Misty, opponent passing. Pluto Delta go. Opponent cracks. Breeding Pool. Adepts. Snow-covered plains. Charming Prince. Gonna go Scryin. Yeah. Wonder if opponent has Panharmonicon in their deck. We're probably not allowed to counter a Panharmonicon, are we? Playing the island, go. We're probably going to Fatal Push something this turn since we drew the Snapcaster. Booted. Noblest of Hierarchs. Yeah, sure. Combat, opponent. Attacks. Down to 17. Well, crack Pluto Delta. Grab a Swamp. And Fatal Push Noble Hierarch. Untap. Well, Marsh Flats go. We are going to need more lands at some point. Or some Thieves. Where's our Specters? We're not especially close to Sen Triplets yet, but it would be nice to get the lands to get to Coiling Oracle. Alright, let's just counter that. Opponent. Gets and hits us. Crack Marsh Flats. Get a Hollowed Fountain. Come on, land. Alright, there's Flooded Strand. That's good. Play Flooded Strand past the turn. Well, we're getting there. We're getting to where we want to be. We're also getting beaten down, but Noble Hierarch. Yeah. Opponent. Combat. Attacks. Yeah, we'll take it. Down to 10. Well, let's Snapcaster for Fatal Push. And Fatal Push Charming Prince. Untap. Go to combat. Get in with Snapcaster. Still not a single thieving card. Found it down to 17. Well, for mulliganing to 5, we have stabilized fairly reasonably. But we've mostly just played like a weird Esper control deck at the moment. But on depths. That's a bunch of mana. Soul Herder. Yeah. I think we'd rather not have that be a thing. Get an island. Cryptic. Yeah, let's just counter draw. We could bounce Snapcaster, but I think this is fine. Brazen Borrower. Alright. Well, still not a thieving card, but Vivid Creek. Get in with Snapcaster. Hit our opponent. Down to 15. Inquisition you. Opponent's got to have a handful of action. Because they haven't been making land drops, so... Oh, geez. Force of Negation, Eternal Witness, Court of Calling, Yarion. Well, we'll take Eternal Witness. Ship the turn. Opponent does have good stuff to steal, if we can ever find a way to steal it. Opponent passes. Well, go to combat. Hostage Taker is actually a sneaky good draw here. Should let us steal this Noble Hierarch. Well, Hostage Taker. Ooh, opponent drew a Venser. Ugh. Okay, bounces our Hostage Taker. Well, that was a good draw for our opponent. Ship the turn. Opponent, combat. Gets and hits us. You know what? Let's path now. If our opponent wants to force a negation, it is their entire turn. Alright, there's the force of negation. Sure. So we go to 6. We untap. Hostage Taker. Take Noble Hierarch. Play Noble Hierarch. Go to combat. Attack. Hit our opponent. Well, maybe on the mull to 5. Ephemerate for this Fencer would be super brutal. Next turn, we can leave a Brazen Bar, where this turn is really bad for us. Iceman Quaddle draws a card. Sure. Well, not Ephemerate, so it's alright. Opponent passes. Well, go to combat. Get him with Snappy McGee here. I mean, this is kind of working. Opponent trades with Venser. Sure. We will Dexos. These are cards that no one expects to play against, that's for sure. And pass the turn. And now I kind of like where we're at. Opponent had the flood in game 1 and then the 3-lander in game 2. Although, we did mold a 5, so we can't feel too bad. No Sen Triplets, though. I feel a little bit bad about that. Opponent. Wow, sending the Coatl message. That is aggressive. You got a ninja or something? Why in the world? Alright, sure. Down to 5. Here comes all of our thieves. Go to combat. Attack. See if Daxos can give us something sweet. Or the land our opponent desperately needs. I guess that would be sweet in its own way. Ooh. We gotta cast it this turn? Well, let's Blink Hostage Taker. Steal the Coatl. And pass the turn. Do we get the Ephemerate? Does it go to our exile zone? No, it just goes to the graveyard. All right. Opponent finds our land. So we actually helped our opponent get to that land. We did them a favor. Well, I think we got it on the mold of 5. This would have been a good game for Sen Triplets if we had drawn it. And opponent gave us a GG's. And, well, all right. We didn't do anything crazy with Sen Triplets, but we did do some good thieving. That much is for sure. Yeah, sweet, sweet. Next time, Sen Triplets, next time. All right, against the odds time, we are playing Esper Thieves, Sen Triplet Thieves in Modern, and this hand's fine. It's not super exciting, no Sen Triplets, no Thieves, but we got an okay curve. We can Inquisition, bounce something. Oh dear, it's Tron. Well, we gotta take Expedition Map, I guess. Since that would assemble Tron. Not sure how this is gonna go. Well, Thoughtseize is decent. Thoughtseize you. Take Karn the Great Creator. Unfortunately, our exotic orchards are gonna be pretty bad. Ooh, Power Plant and Mind Stone. Well, we'll crack. We will get a Hollowed Fountain. So this means Exotic Orchard literally does not tap for mana. Oh boy. Oh boy. Can I not even cast it? Thank you. It's ghosted out. I'm assuming it's ghosted out because it doesn't do anything. Do we cast it for science? I think we should not. We'll play an island. Pass the turn. Oh boy! Well, we found the downside of playing Exotic Orchard to make Sen Triplets work. It's really bad against Tron. Matter Reshaper. Sure. Opponent. Passes. Well, Blue to Delta go. Opponent. Untaps. And, well, let's... I think we Brazen Bar over it. Scavenger Grounds. Yeah. Matter Reshaper returns. Crack Polluter Delta. Grab a Watery Grave. Play Flooded Strand. Pass the turn. Eventually, our opponent's going to cast a massive Walking Ballista. Opponent, combat. Attacks. Well, crack this. Get a Godless Shrine. Tapped. Fatal Push. Opponent. Oh, another Karn. Oh, and we can't actually... Oh, no, and Tron? This is bad. This is really, really, really bad. Karn. Hell, that's why you play Tron lands. So you draw them. And also so you shut down Exotic Orchard, apparently. Mystic Forge. And Walking Ballista. Yeah, I think we're dead now. Yeah, this feels like a... Alright, more lands. Sure. Yeah, this feels like a tough matchup. Our lands don't tap for mana. Our opponent makes lots of mana. And we just didn't draw any Thieves. Well, Commandeer in. Disdainful Stroke in. Anguished Unmaking in. I don't even know if we want Damping Sphere. It is Eldrazi Tron. That's the Tron deck that's least about setting on Tron. Yeah, this is so awkward. This is the one deck where our mana base is super punishing. So I think we actually have to cut the exotic orchards, and that puts us at 22 lands, which means we should probably try to cut some expensive spells, because that's not very many lands. We might even go down one Sen Triplets, honestly. I know normally the rule in against the odds is we play for the winning card, but we gotta sideboard out our lands. There's no way we can play all the 5-drops when we have to sideboard out our lands. Well, okay, we actually have enough lands to cast things. We don't have anything that is specifically good against Tron in this hand, but considering we had to sideboard out our lands, I will take functional at the moment. Relic of Progenitus. Opponent passes. Yeah, swamp and pass. Tectonic Edge. Opponent passing. Play Castle Lockwain. Run out. Thief of Sanity. Go. Why is that in our opponent's deck? That's interesting. Power Plant for our opponent and a Matter Reshaper. Ha! I am surprised that's in our opponent's deck. They didn't see creatures from us, did they, in game 1? Well, we will Inquisition our opponent, see what they got going on. Walking Ballista, Matter Reshaper, Thought Knot, Seer. I'll take Walking Ballista. Play Flooded Strand. Pass the turn. Why did they sideboard in removal? Opponent going to activate Relic. Yeah. Goes to combat. Gets and hits us. Down to 17. Plays a land. Matter Reshaper. In that case, I think we just remand. Crack Flooded Strand. Get a Plains. Path Matter Reshaper. Untap. Play Night Veil Spectre. Pass the turn. Can we start stealing stuff? Please, 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 Magic Gods. Opponent is 1 land away from Tron, which is not ideal. Alright, cracks the Relic. Looking for Tron. Do they find it? They found Eldrazi Temple, which basically Tron all by itself. So opponent is going to be able to play multiple things. Opponent. Struggling to manage their non-Tron amount of mana. Once you have Tron, it's easy, because then you just can cast anything at any time. Thought Knot Seer for our opponent. Takes a Fatal Push. And runs out the Matter Reshaper. Well, let's see what Night Veil Spectre can give us. We draw a Swamp. Well, go to combat. Get in. Hit our opponent. Steal. Wait, mine? Alright, well, we'll play Urza's Mine. Pass the turn. Opponent. Combat. Gets in. Well, we will, let's see. We will Kaya's Guile. Make a 1/1. Make our opponent sack. Ooh, more Thought Knots. Alright. Yeah. Well, that's not optimal. Down to 12. Thought Knot Part 2. Well, that means we need to Snapcaster. Opponent takes a peek. And Matter Reshaper. Alright, Night Veil. It is your time to actually do things. Go to combat. Get in with Night Veil. What if we could assemble Tron? Hit our opponent with Night Veil. Okay, we're doing it. That's another mine, actually. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent. Reality Smasher. Ugh. Alright, that's a good one. Opponent finds Reality Smasher, goes to combat. Big attack. We block and block. Take a lot. Take 9 down to 3. Opponent hits a Warping Whale. Yeah, they probably just have us here. Yeah, this is a really awkward matchup. And again, we haven't drawn Sen Triplets. Not that it would have done much anything. We did do some thieving with Night Veil Spectre, but, you know, Fatal Push. A Thought Knot Seer. Draw. Drown in the Lock. Ooh, alright, we gotta get in. We gotta get in and hope this Night Veil Spectre actually gives us something other than Urza's Mine. we can't deal with these Urza's Mines. We need a real card. Ugin doesn't do it, right? This only kills colorless stuff? That's awkward. We hit a good card! This matchup's so bad for us. Yeah, so All right, what is our out? We have to Thoughtseize our opponent. Go to 1. Okay, opponent counters. Opponent makes a 1/1. Oh, they have two. Oh, boy. Then we can drown in the lock the Thought Not Seer to draw a card. All right, it's a Watery Grave. Yeah, that's not a great Sen Triplets matchup. That's actually kind of just like hilariously bad. Our lands don't tap for mana. The good cards our opponent hit, we can hit from our opponent's deck, are not actually good against their deck. Like in most matchups, hitting the big Planeswalker with the mana to cast it would be great, but their stuff is all colorless. So yeah, that is just like the worst imaginable matchup for our deck. But all right. Well, someday we'll draw Sen Triplets. Someday. All right. Against the odds time, we are looking to thieve our way through Modern. We're playing some Sen Triplets, Esper steal your stuff. And this hand's fine. I mean, we can protect our Thief of Sanity, do a little tempoing, maybe end up finding a Sen Triplets. Marsh Flats, crack it. I think we're just going to get Watery Grave. A little risky because we're going to 15, but we do have this Cryptic in hand that we might want to cast someday. Thoughtseize you. I'll take Merchant. So opponent's on Dredge, but they're going to need to find ways to get stuff in the graveyard. Wooded Foothills. Opponent passing. I'll play an island, pass the turn. So opponent is going to be able to go off eventually. And I don't even know if we want to hit them with Thief of Sanity. Opponent cracks Wooded Foothills. Stomping Grounds. Did they draw another Merchant? Alright. Arid Mesa. Shriekhorn. Well, I mean, I guess we remand because it's not going to get better. So we might as well cycle it. Opponent cracks. Blood Crypt. Untapped Shriekhorn. Alright. Hits a Creeping Chill, but not a Dredger. Polluted Delta. Crack it. Yeah, this is awkward. Awkward times for Thief of Sanity. Please don't mill a Dredger. Opponent, upkeep. Mills, not a Dredger. Narcomoeba and... Oh! Alright. Yeah. Alright. So now... Oh! Dredges into 2 Narcomoebas and a prized amalgam. Oh boy. Okay, so I think we're probably dead. And then they're gonna just cast a Stinkweed Imp. Well, maybe we'll draw Sen Triplets. I mean, this is what Dredge does. Play a land, pass the turn. So we can, like, Cryptic tap down our opponent's stuff. Not that it especially matters. Yeah, we needed our opponent not to do exactly what they did, which was just dredge into, or mill into the Dredger. Opponent dredges Dackmore Salvage for 2. It's a Creeping Chill and a Golgari Thug. Well, I mean, that's the Dredge life. Tap draw. We get a Snapcaster. Opponent plays a Dackmore Salvage. Plays a Golgari Thug. Well, we untap. This is tough. Opponent doesn't really have good cards to steal. Well, Gonti you. Take a Creeping Chill. Polluted Delta. And I guess we just have to stay on defense. None of this is good, though. They get to dredge again. Hits another Narcomoeba. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks. Well, crack Polluted Delta. Get a Swamp. Fatal Push Prized Amalgam. Block here. Yeah, block here, go to 3. Opponent has another Thug. Oh, we untap. So there's our Sen Triplets, but it's a tiny bit on the late side. Go to 1, go to combat. Well, we do have some graveyard hate in the sideboard, although it's mostly Ashiok, so it's not the fastest graveyard hate. Opponent in the tank for some reason. Returns from the tank. We will go attacking. Opponent going to block. Narcomoeba on the top of their deck. Untaps. Dredges. Narcomoeba. And a Bloodghast. Alright, yeah. Yeah, this is a tough one. Huh! Maybe the modern meta is hostile to Sen Triplets. It might just be a tough matchup. So, Kaya's Guile Ashiok's in. We will go down Fatal Pushes. We'll go down the Venser. We'll go down the Gonti. I guess Supreme Verdict could be fine. Going down Brazen Borrower. And that's what we got. So we get a bit of removal for the graveyard. We get to play first. Well, okay. We got an Ashiok, which is our best card. We are going to need to draw a land, which is a concern. But if we can get down Ashiok in time, it can be very effective. And our Graveyard Hate doesn't really care about Nature's Claim. We'll take Cathartic Reunion past the turn. Well, let's see if we can get to our Graveyard Hate on time. Bone it. It would be good. And it also shuts down some lands. Pwn it. Wow, doesn't even play a land. They're going for the discard to hand size plan, which is going to get a little bit blown out by this Ashiok, I think. Pwn it. Sure. 8 cards in hand. Oh, this is such a blowout. Ooh, opponent. Yeah, Stinkweed. Well, sorry, opponent. We will play Ashiok. Target you. Pass the turn. Opponent gives up on discarding a hand size. Blood Crypt untapped. Thought seizes us. Takes the Graveyard Hate. Well, we will play Thief of Sanity. Go. Not going to bother to take down our Ashiok with a graveyard empty. Works well with Thief of Sanity because we can hit our opponent and then, after we mill, exile stuff. Not that Dredge has anything super exciting to steal. Oh, opponent's done? Done, done, done! Okay. Well, we didn't Sen Triplet him, but... Ooh, but technically, our Graveyard Hate one. I mean, that's how Dredge goes. Like... we try Graveyard Hate him. It's unlikely that Sen Triplet's going to be super relevant here. No Graveyard Hate. Thoughtseizes are fine, but not without Graveyard Hate as a backup. Ooh, boy. Well, keep it going, keep it going. Opponent's on 4. We're on 5. Is there any way this hand wins? We're going to keep. I don't think we can keep mulliganing because our deck... It's not like we have a Tormod's Crypt or a Leyline. We need 3 lands to cast our Graveyard Hate. Opponent's all the way down to 3, but number of cards in hand is pretty deceptive for Dredge. They can win with 1 card if they can get their engine going. It will take them a while to discard enough cards in hand size, if they're on that plan. But if they have, like, Haggle Dredger, like, that is a fine 2-card hand that is probably favored to win if we don't hit Graveyard Hate. Blood Crypt. Untapped. Shriekhorde. Mills, a Narcomoeba. Well, it's not a Dredger yet. Pluto Delta go. Well, this is a big mill too. If they hit a Dredger, they're off to the races. If they whiff, Loam. That is a Dredger. Not the best Dredger, but alright. Blood Crypt. Ooh, opponent. Gets it, hits us. We will get a Watery Grave tapped. Down to 18. Vivid Creek. All right, this is a huge mill too. Huge, huge, huge. Like the whole game riding on this mill too. Found it. Mills. No Dredger. Whew. Okay. Okay. That buys us a minute, hopefully. Well, less of a minute. Now they get to Loam. Well, we'll see. Opponent. Drew the land. Cracks the land. Gets to Loam back some more lands. And get a Dredger in the graveyard. Drawing a Graveyard Hate spell would be the best. Opponent gets in, hits us. Sen Triplets. Well, we might get to cast it this game, maybe. Play Thief of Sanity. Unfortunately, we don't have Graveyard Hate still. And Sen Triplets, like, what are we going to cast from our opponent's hand? Opponent dredges. Oh, God. Ox. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6, 7, 8. So our opponent can get back Ox here and just go to town. Well, as we talked about during the mulligans, Dredge doesn't really care about the number of cards in its hand. That is relatively irrelevant. So opponent gets back Ox. They discard their hand. They get to Dredge an indeterminate number of times. Probably many. Ox. Hits a Loam, dredges, hits a Loam, dredges. Alright. So they get an Arc Amoeba, they get a Prized Amalgam. Looms back some lands. Yeah, it's very difficult to beat Dredge without hitting Graveyard Hate. Prized Amalgam returns. We will play a Plains. We will Hostage Taker on the Ox of Agonis. And pass the turn. Opponent. Dredge's Loam hits an Ox and a Stinkweed Imp. I feel like we gotta cast Sen Triplets just because we're a Sen Triplets deck, but I also feel like it doesn't do much about it. Big attack. Well, we will block and take 4. Down to 13. Boot it. Loam's back a land. Cycling land. That is a good one. So you can cycle and dredge. Cycles, dredges. Stamping Grounds. Untapped, gets blood gassed. Yeah, dredge is one of those decks where it's just, it doesn't feel super magic-y. Basically, if you hit Graveyard Hit, you win. If you don't hit Graveyard Hit, you lose. There's not a whole lot of magicking other than that. So maybe we should have just kept mulliganing to try to find Graveyard Hate rather than stopping at 5. But like I said, the problem is our deck's Graveyard Hate is 3 mana. Opponent gets another Ox. So I get to discard and dredge a bundle. Conflagrates and Stinkweeds and Narcomoebas and a whole bunch of Prized Amalgams. Yeah, they got us now. Alright, well. I will say this is actually as close as we've gotten to Sen Tripleting. It's actually in hand, which is closer than not being in hand. Oh, next time. Alright. Against the odds time, we are looking to Sen Triplets our way through Modern, and we have Sen Triplets. We'll see. Maybe this is the time. Sen Triplets is more challenging than I thought. Let's toss these. Oh dear. Murphy, okay. We will take... Oh, we're going to be at 15? Ugh. It's not much of a life total. Well, I guess we take Dismember. Pass the turn. Alright. So we need 2 lands, and then we can send Triplets. We'll see if we're still alive when we get to that point. Well, Flooded Strand, go. I mean, if we get 1 more land, we can Cryptic, which could maybe let us live long enough to send Triplets. Opponent gets in, hits us, down to 14. And Spreading Seas, sure. Well, we'll crack. We will get a Watery Grave tapped. Untap. And... Well, alright. Night Veil Spectre. Go. Still would like to draw lands. Opponent. Oh, they top decked another Dismember? Ugh. Okay. Yeah. Dismember Tribal. Opponent has more Spreading Seas. Huh. Okay. Those are good draws. Gets in, hits us. That's not a land. Well, and now we're actually just mana screwed. Oh, no. Oh, boy. Sen Triplets might go down as the worst against the odds card of all time. I think it is Join the Running, at least, of all-time worst against the odds cards. Opponent gets in, hits us, finds more blue mana, and Fairy Conclave. We draw a land? Yes. Okay, we finally drew a land. So, Polluted Delta. Yeah, pass the turn. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks. Well, crack Polluted Delta. Get a Swamp. Kill Benthic Biomancer. Opponent passes. Well, Polluted Delta, go. I don't think we can just run out Sen Triplets, because I think we die? Yeah, we definitely die. Alright, so we got to pass the turn this turn. Opponent flashes out Harbinger of the Tides. They still have a Trickster in hand, too. Goes to combat. Attacks. Well, Cryptic Harbinger. Opponent passes. Well, crack Polluted Delta. Get a Hollowed Fountain. We still can't send Triplets. So if we send Triplets, our opponent can Trickster, tap it, and hit us for 1, 2, 3, 4... I guess it's just 6. Alright, whatever. We came here to play Sen Triplets. We're going to play Sen Triplets. Sen Triplets. I mean, we still might die, but at least we'll die with the Sen Triplets on the battlefield. Okay, we've reached the next level of Sen Triplets achievement. We didn't draw it, and then we eventually drew it, and couldn't cast it. We've officially cast a Sen Triplets. We're getting there. Flooded Strago. About it. And our opponent even has 6 cards in hand. There's Trickster. Taps it down. Untaps. Are we going to get to cast a card with Sen Triplets? No. Harbinger of Tides. I guess we should have seen that coming. Opponent bounces. Yeah. And a Castle Vantress. Goes to combat. Attacks. Hits us. Down to 6. Well, play... Actually, I guess we gotta crack this. Crack Flooded Strand. Go down to 5. Get a Plains. Hostage Taker. Take Trickster. Opponent repeals the Trickster. Polluted Delta. Crack Polluted Delta. Go to 4. And I think this puts us to dead. Thief of Sanity. Go. Yeah, I think our... So, well, we gotta send Triplets on the battlefield for a split second. Oh, that might be the climax of our Against Odds this week. Opponent plays Lord of Atlantis. That's very lethal. Alright, that might be the climax. Like, Sen Triplets hit the battlefield. Is that enough to count as a win? With Sen Triplets. Who is that a hard card? Alright, so, Supreme Verdict in, Collective Brutality, Path to Exile in, Kaya's Guile, I guess, in, Anguish in Making, why not? You might as well come in too. We will go down a couple of Thought Seizes. We will go down a Cryptic Command. We will go down a Venser. And we will go down a Remand, and we'll run it like that. Okay. Alright. Maybe. Well, we did resolve a Sen Triplets. No lands, no keeps. We are a 25 land deck. We're not cheating on mana by any definition. We are actually, if anything, we are playing an extra land to make sure that we have enough. Well, Flooded Strango. But this is only a 1-lander. There's an Ether Vial. Opponent passes. Alright, we drew a land past the turn. Huh. Well, we do have Sen Triplets. I wonder if they would ever print a 2020 edition of Sen Triplets. Like a Sen Triplets that had the same ability, but was good. Because it would be pretty sweet. Like, the idea of controlling your opponent's turn and being able to play their hand, like, that is pretty sweet. I really like that aspect of Sen Triplets. But it kind of dies to everything. And you gotta wait a turn to use it. If it was an enter the battlefield trigger, maybe, or like enter the battlefield and on your upkeep, something like that would go a long way. But 5 mana 3/3 that does things the next turn, we've run into a whole bunch of issues, really. Opponents being out of cards in hand, opponent killing it, obviously, not drawing it. So far we have stole stuff with other cards, but so far we have not. You know, so opponent's gonna do some shenanigans like flashing a lord and pump this, so we're not gonna do that. Opponent Biomancers hits us down to 15. We would like to keep drawing lands to maybe get to Sen Triplet eventually. We're probably gonna attack, and they're gonna do stuff that we don't like. Alright, go to combat. Attack. I'm expecting them to like flash in. Alright, it's just a Trickster. I guess that's sort of better than it could have been. Collective Brutality. Kill Trickster, I guess. Yeah, mana situation's not great, though. Pass the turn. Opponent, Ether Vial taken up. More lands. Goes to combat. 4 cards in hand. Gets in, hits us. Taps a lot of mana. Repeals our Night Veil Spectre. Draws a card. Puts a Lord into play. Can we draw a land? No. Well, in that case, we will... Fatal Push the Master, pass the turn. Opponent adapts. They just keep staring back at us, too. Like, why can't you cast me and do anything? I'm starting to realize why it's so sweet in Commander, though, because you have 3 opponents. So, odds are someone's going to have cards in your hand. Also, like, the curve is much higher in Commander. Not everyone's all about, like, playing nothing that costs more than 2 mana or whatever. So the curve is a little bit more Sen Tripletable. That is not a land. Well, we will pass the turn. Yeah. Untaps. Put it. Mutavault. More creature lands. Just keep it coming. Fairy Conclave. Fairy Conclave. Opponent attacks. Well, we will Snapcaster for Fatal Push. Block. Fatal Push Conclave. Untap. Well, that is technically a land. It's a painful land, but alright, we will run out Night Veil Spectre. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Vial staying on 2 draws a card. Fairy Conclave number million. Alright, opponent has a Dismember. They like going to the beginning of combat before turning on their creature lands. Mutavault. Goes to combat attacks. Alright. Polluted Delta. Get a Hallowed Fountain. Untapped. Down to 3. Path to Exile. Mutavault. Untap. Vivid Marsh. Go. Well, we're not dead yet. We're not dead yet. And we might even cast a Sen Triplets. Opponent untaps. And combat. Fairy Conclave. Well, target opponent sacks a creature. Make a 1/1. Opponent has Force of Negation. Alright, so we're to 1. So we could cast Sen Triplets and die. That's probably not optimal. And opponent has a Biomancer. Exotic Orchard, go! Ugh. Well, we almost got to the casting of Sen Triplets again. We'll probably cast it next turn, and then just die to Fairy Conclaves. Opponent did draw a lot of Fairy Conclaves. Like, there's not a whole lot we can do about our opponent just drawing 5 creature lands. And now Cryptic doesn't even do anything. If we tap, they can fire it up. And, well, I mean, we will tap. I guess we could tap into another removal spell, but poor Sen Triplets. So the creatures tap, then our opponent can activate Fairy Conclave. We almost stabilized. Opponent floats some mana. Alright. That's not it. Oh, Sen Triplets. Seti. I think the goalposts have shifted. I don't think we're going to ever win a game with Sen Triplets. I think we gotta hope we cast a single spell with a Sen Triplet. That would be the equivalent of going 5-0 with Jund or something. Casting a single spell with Sen Triplets in Modern. I think those are equal hardness as far as how difficult it is to accomplish in the Modern format. Cast a single spell with Sen Triplets, win a GP with Jund. Same. They're the same. All right. Against the odds time, we are mulliganing with Sen Triplets in Modern. Well, we got to Sen Triplets. Maybe this is the day. Maybe this is the day where we cast a spell with Sen Triplets. We just need 2 more lands, our opponent not to have removal, us to resolve a 5-drop, and them not do anything once we resolve the 5-drop. We're almost there. I got a good feeling about this one. Opponent, Inspiring Advantage. Oh, my feelings have changed. Swift Spear hits us. I have less of a good feeling about this one. Pass the turn. Oh, it's burn, eh? Inspiring Advantage. Opponent, Eidolon. Well, we're going to remand that. Opponent hits us. Play a land, and Thief of Sanity go. Yeah, Sen Triplets, Dice Lightning Bolt. Boot it. Arid Mesa. Searing Blaze. Alright, so there goes our Thief of Sanity and our life total. Opponent cracks. Gets a Mountain. Lightning Bolt. Down to 12, down to 9. Well, Inquisition. 2 Eidolons. Oh, God. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent plays an Eidolon. We'll play a Snapcaster. Opponent suspends a Rift Bolt. That's a good draw. I'll play Vivid Marsh. Play Night Veil Spectre. Down to 7. Pass the turn. And does this mean we're dead? I think so. Well, maybe this is not the time we cast a spell with Sen Triplets. Bolted. Yeah, down to 4. Skullcrack, down to 1. And, oh, they drew Goblin Guide. All right, so now we're just literally dead. Sure. Oh! Well, this is a throwback episode. This is like the good old days when against odds decks occasionally won 0% of the time. We'll bring in some stuff. Anything that gains us life. We'll go down the Venser. We will go down Thoughtseize, I guess. I mean, we can bring in the vetoes, or at least a veto. Maybe we don't have a Cryptic. That's pretty expensive. All right, run it like that. Flooded Strand. Go. Opponent keeping 7. Arid Mesa for our opponent. Cracks it. Sacred Foundry. Suspends a Rift Bolt. Well, we will crack. Get a Water Grave tapped. Untap. Exotic Orchard. Go. Rift Bolt. Hits us down to 16. Goblin Guide. Well, I guess we remand. Remand's not going to get much more valuable. Opponent passes. Hallowed Fountain tapped. Pass the turn. Now, if our opponent's only on 1 land, we can stay alive for a minute at least. Goblin Guide. Well, we will remand it. Opponent has to discard a hand size. That is good for us. Well, we will play... Oh, do we even play Thief of Sanity? I think what we do here is just play an island and just run out. Oh, I don't want to run out Hostage Shaker either. Well, you know what? We'll play Thief of Sanity. If our opponent kills it, at least that's a burn spell that's not going on our face, and they're presumably not playing a Goblin Guide unless they draw land. And if they Goblin Guide, that's fine. We get to hit them with, oh, they do draw the land. Okay, that's not as exciting. Arid Mesa, Mountain, Searing Blaze, Lightning Helix. Sure. Opponent passes. Alright, Flooded Strand, go. We are still at 16, though, and it's turn 5. Ooh, opponent draws another land. Goblin Guide. Well, let's Snapcaster and Remand. Crack this. Thin the deck. Watery Grave. Remand Goblin Guide. Draw a card. Okay, path. Rift Bolt and Lava Spike. Castle Lockwane. Pass the turn. So Rift Bolt's going to hit us to 9. Oh, going to kill Snapcaster. Okay, sure. That's fine. Swift Spear and Goblin Guide. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks. Well, what do we have on top? Nightville Spectre. Alright, we will path a Goblin Guide. Go to 11. Untap. Exotic Orchard. Run out Hostage Taker on Swift Spear. This is where Sen Triplets would actually possibly be pretty good. Play Swift Spear. And yeah, I guess we attack with Swift Spear. Hit ya. Down to 18 past the turn. Eidolon of the Great Revel. Opponent passes. Well, that's a Triplets. Alright. Go to combat. We're going to cast it and see what happens. Hostage Taker. Hit ya. Down to 16. Sen Triplets. Please don't bolt it. No bolts. No blazes. On the battlefield. Oh. Come on. Come on, Magic Gods. Pass the turn. Boros charms us down to 7. Yep. Untaps. Sunbaked Canyon. Goblin Guide. Opponent only has 1 card in hand. I was excited to say opponent only has 1 card in hand at first, but then I got less excited after I realized that means Sen Triplets doesn't do anything. Down to 4. Opponent. No attacks. Well, okay. We activated a Sen Triplets. I mean, I guess that's a win. Go to combat. Attack you. I mean, Sen Triplet beatdown. That could still be a way to win. Wow, opponent chumps and chumps. Interesting. Okay, pass the turn. Oh, so we can Cryptic to bounce a land and recast it? Opponent cracks a land. We might play a Sen Triplet card. It might happen. Opponent. Eidolon. Sure. Opponent. Okay, 1, 2. Oh man, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Cryptic Command. Bounce Eidolon. Draw a card. Untap. Sen Triplets. With our Exotic Orchard mana. Yes! Oh, we did it. We did it. Our plan came to fruition. We did it! Sen Triplets! I didn't think it was possible, but it is. Attack, attack, attack. Hit our opponent. To 4. We can't cast the other one because we don't have that much red mana. Exotic Orchard's paying off. Whew! It's possible! It's possible! That might be the least climatic win of all time, but it happened! Oh, I didn't think it was going to. We did it! Oh, praise the magic gods. Praise the magic gods. Oh man. Oh, this so brings me back to the earliest days of Against Odds. It really does. I definitely remember the earliest days of Against Odds. We played such janky cards, like Sen Triplet level cards, where there was a very real fear as I was recording that we would never win. So I just remember after losing and losing and losing like we have this week, so many matches in a row, it's such a relief when it actually happens. You're like, oh my god, it can actually happen. And this episode very much reminds me of that. Sen Triplets. It's nostalgic with its jankiness. Oh, we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it. So why don't we learn this week about Esper, Sen Triplets, Thieves in Modern? And oh, this felt like an old school Against Odds. So we ended up losing that last game against Bird. So we ended up 1-4 in terms of matches. Our one match, our opponent had some land troubles and so forth, mulligans, although we also did. Sen Triplets is tough. That is the biggest takeaway. Sen Triplets... I was hoping it would be sweet because it's sweet in Commander, but after playing with it in Modern, I kind of realized the limitations of Sen Triplets. So limitation number 1, in Modern, you have one opponent, and that one opponent tends to dump their hand really quickly. If you look at the average Modern deck, it's trying to get out of cards fairly quickly and win the game like by turn 4, turn 3. It's often said it's a turn 4 format and it's become more of a turn 3 format. So Sen Triplets, just by being 5 mana and by making us wait a turn before we activate it, already is a tough sell in the Modern format. So we had some games where we just didn't draw Sen Triplets. Then we had other games where by the time we found our Sen Triplets, even if we cast it on turn 5 or could cast it on turn 5, our opponent was either empty-handed or just holding up a removal spell. And that's kind of very different in Commander. In Commander, it's not as normal for decks to be built on efficiency. I think there was just a Command Zone study where average Commander game goes like over 10 turns, when the average Modern game is significantly less than that. Plus, in Commander, you have 3 opponents, so even if you have an opponent who just like dumps their hand and has nothing going on, you could just send Triplets whoever has the most cards in hand, and someone's likely to have cards in hand. So that was kind of problem number 1. Problem number 2 is Sen Triplets dies to a lot. It does dodge Fatal Push, which is a bonus, but Lightning Bolt kills it. Path to Exile kills it. Artifact removal kills it. There's a lot of ways that it could go wrong. And then the third issue is the opponent sees it coming. We have to play Sen Triplets, and then it doesn't do anything immediately. We have to wait a turn for it to actually be able to target our opponent. And that 1-turn window basically says to our opponent, hey, you should either really kill Sen Triplets or you should empty your hand real quick because Sen Triplets is coming for you. So it's really, really difficult to get value out of Sen Triplets in Modern. Although, after we kind of shift our focus a little bit from actually trying to win with Sen Triplets to just seeing if we could even cast a spell with Sen Triplets, we did eventually, and Sen Triplets did win us that game against Burn. It is a thing that actually happened, so it can happen, but it's not super consistent. So I don't know. Give me your feedback on the deck. Is there another way to build it to make Sen Triplets more relevant? I thought about like trying to artifact reanimate it or cheat it into play somehow, going for like a ramp style deck, but that's a little awkward being an Esper because Esper isn't the best ramp colors. The Thieves backup plan, it is sweet and it is very on theme with Sen Triplets, but I don't know if it's particularly powerful. So I don't know. If you have ideas of how Sen Triplets could be better, definitely let me know in the comments, or maybe it's just a card that the way it's worded in build doesn't line up well with the Modern format. That is also a realistic possibility. Some cards are just tough sells in Modern. And one of the awkward things about Sen Triplets is even when we pull it off, it doesn't do something that is especially spectacular. It's like, even if we get down Sen Triplets, and it lives, and our opponent has cards in hand, it's like, oh, we get to bolt you, or oh, we get to play a land out of your hand. We also got the hilarious blowout against Tron, where they don't play colored mana, and we drew a bunch of Exotic Orchards, and the Exotic Orchards just literally don't tap for mana, so we had to sideboard out our cool land because it just doesn't work in the matchup. Although, in a lot of matchups, Exotic Orchards would good, and it was key to us finally casting a spell against Bird with Sen Triplets. So, all around, definitely not a super competitive deck, but an interesting exploration of the potential of Sen Triplets in Modern, which doesn't seem to be super high, but like I said, maybe I'm missing something. So if you got some ideas of how to make Sen Triplets better in Modern, let me know in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed our brutal losses with Sen Triplets and still had some fun along the way. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.